Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we'll be talking about You, Superpowered. And this is published by Neon Moo Games.
Have you ever thought...
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can see our videos as they come out.
Whew. Almost missed out on that opportunity. Whew. It was a close one. Have you ever thought about what it would be like to have superpowers?
So I'm sure like everybody has, but you always think you're going to have these really cool superpowers. And I would just assume, I assume if I had one, it'd be really lame. Although, you know it'd be a really lame but awesome superpower? To never like burn anything when you're cooking.
That would be good. I could really use that.
Like you were incapable of like ruining your food.
Yeah, no, I like that. As a young chef, I thought that I had that superpower, and I would, just go off of smells and off of, rather than timers. In my old age, I'm just kind of like, oh, yeah, I'll know when it's done, and then I'm never right.
Yeah, your family knows this about you.
Yeah, but thankfully, that is not one of the superpowers featured in this game. And you, Superpowered, you get the chance to be yourself, but with superpowers. So you get to role play.
Get it?
You, Superpowered. You also get a chance to role play, be yourself with those powers. You get a chance to have some weaknesses, right? Kind of like some kryptonite. Is that copywritten? Probably.
No, we're fine. We're good.
And there's also, hidden roles. So you might be a villain. You might be a hero. You might be an undercover hero. You might even be a rogue, just kind of doing your own thing. So all that comes together. You play the game, and you play out this scenario as you're being a hero or a villain in this town. So let me show you what it looks like on the table. All right, the first thing we need to do when we're setting up You, Superpowered is get the right characters in play. So in the setup here, in the rule book, it basically says, based off the number of players, those are the different characters we should be using with supervillains, villains, hero or undercover heroes, and rogues. So we've got all those out here. Basically what you do is you set it up following that player count sheet, and then you always have one more roll than the number of players. So what ends up happening is you shuffle them all up, you deal them out, you'll have one card left over, you put that aside, so there's kind of a mystery as far as who's all actually out there. Maybe there isn't a rogue. There's a rogue card that was in play, but maybe they didn't get dealt out. Or maybe there's more villains or less villains, or whatever the case is. So every player is going to have their secret identity down in front of them. Then next thing we're going to do is we're also going to get our hidden weakness, our secret weakness. So there are 2 yellow cards, 2 blue, 2 red, and 2 orange. You shuffle those up randomly, give them out to all the players. This is kind of like our kryptonite, right? So let's say maybe we got a blue. We would look at that, but we would not reveal it. It would stay hidden along with our secret identity. However, we're going to get 2 cards face up. These are the superpowers. So we're going to get shuffled up. Everyone's going to get dealt 2 of them face up. So maybe we have some optic blasts, and we have metal manipulation. The key thing to remember here is that all the players are still themselves. So when I'm playing, I'm still Ryan. I just have these certain abilities. I have these weaknesses and these identities, but I'm still Ryan. Everything that Ryan can do, this character can do, because it's just you, Superpowered, hence the name. If you are playing with people who already all know each other, then you can kind of just jump right in. If you don't ever know everyone at the table, what they kind of encourage you to do is go around the table, everyone share some strengths, some weaknesses that they have, actually in real life. So that way they can kind of help your role-playing, again, as yourself, play out. And it might help some truths and lies. So maybe if I really am allergic to cats, and maybe there's a scenario involving cats, and I run right up there and I'm touching this cat, and I'm loving all over this cat, someone who knows me, or if I gave up that weakness at the beginning of the game, heard that, I was like, wait a minute, that sounds maybe not so true. So those kinds of things play out in this as you're going through the role-playing of this game. All right, so after all the characters have all the things they need, next thing we're going to do is we're going to start going on missions. So what we're going to have is we are going to have 2 people. First of all, there's going to be a leader, a hero, and there's going to be a sidekick that they're going to choose. What's going to happen is they're going to go on a couple of, they're going to go on one mission that's going to consist of 2 different crises. But you really want to choose your partner carefully, because what's going to happen is we've got our secret weakness, they've got theirs. You actually get to flip-flop, take a peek at them. They now know that I have blue. I know how they are weak to yellow. Give them back. That's some information that maybe at the end of the game you might be able to use against them if you're on the opposite side as them. At this point in the game, we're going to encounter some objects and some weaknesses. So every player that's involved, the sidekick's going to get 2 cards, the hero's going to get 2 cards, and then basically each of those is going to look at them, choose one thing that's going to be in this mission. So, obviously, if this is us, we're not going to choose the blue malite to be in this. That's our weakness. But we might choose a small mystery unit that has some... it says, find any one real-world object inside. Basically, you can say it's a rope, it's a chainsaw. It's whatever it is you need it to be in this mission as you're kind of going through the story that you're about to tell. The other players are going to do the same thing. There's yellow, so they're not going to put that in the case. They're going to put that in there. So let's say we've got those 2 items. We need a third item, though, however, and there's 2 ways you can get it. The lead hero on the mission is able to either select a player that's not participating and give them 2 cards, and then they can choose one of them to be in it. Or what you can do is you just randomly take one off the top, add it in. What you're going to do is you're going to shuffle all those up, flip them over, and be like, okay, so we've got a small mystery unit, a large mystery unit, and a large orange malite that is in this case. So here are all of our crises over here. So we've got them all kind of labeled by districts, 1 through 6. So we've got a D6 here to figure out where we're going to do this mission. So we've got a 2. So let's read this. Emergency rescue. It's worth 1 point at the end of it, which I'll kind of show you all that in a little bit here. An ambulance has gotten a flat tire in front of a latex and rubber factory, and for some reason, the lug wrench is missing. Help the paramedics change the tire before they are called to an emergency. Alright, so the hero is going to choose, let's say, me to do this. As you know, I've got optic blasts and I've got metal manipulation as my hero powers. And I might say something like, I use my metal manipulation to search for this lug nut, and I fly it over to the paramedics. I'm able to tighten it down. They're able to do what they need to do. And I also rush over and thank them for all the service that they do for our city, or whatever it is, something like that. So you kind of role play this scenario as yourself with these different superpowers. But then everybody else at the table gets a chance to decide, was that a success or was that a failure? Basically, you're deciding, did you accomplish what the objective was? Did you kind of minimize collateral damage? All that kind of stuff. And obviously, this is just a level 1. Some of them are much more chaotic and need to be a little bit more involved than that. So now we do the scoring. If the majority of the players chose success, this is going to be a success. We're going to put it over that number 1 because it was worth 1 point. And me, as let's say, the green player, I get 1 point because of that as well. If there had been more fails, this would be flipped over to the red side. But let's say it was on the blue side. We succeeded. Also, then if people have a chance to give me style points, so they can all reveal 0, which is nothing, 1 or 2 style points, which would give me maybe some additional points in there as well. Each team is going to have 2 crises per mission. Let's say we pass this one as well. Maybe it's worth 2 points. In that case, both missions passed. It'll be worth a win for the heroes. But then let's say there's a situation where there was a red and a red. In that case, the villains won. If we have a situation where there's a tie, let's say a red won theirs for 3 points, and the blue guys won theirs for 2. Whoever has more points, in this case, the red people, they would take the win. The villains would get that. You're going to play a certain amount of missions based off how many players there are, and at that point, when it's all over, you're going to try to figure out where everybody is. You might have scores all over the place. You might have some negative points because of some bad crises. You might have some way up here. You might have some way over here. Whoever has the most negative, they're going to be the villain leader, whereas the most positive is going to be the hero leader. But that's not necessarily mean that their hidden role was a villain or a hero. If the person who is assigned the villain leader ends up being the secret hero, because there's the underground hero, they automatically win. The hero team automatically wins. However, if it's not the case, then you kind of go from there. The villain leader, along with the discussion, kind of has to figure out who they think all the heroes are. And on top of that, what their secret weakness is. If you're able to guess correctly, you win the game. Same thing is if the hero team won the missions phase, then what happens is the heroes do the same thing. So basically, first you're going to find out, is in fact the person who's the hero leader a villain or not? If they are a villain, their secret identity was a villain, they automatically win the game, the villains win the game. However, if not, if the hero is actually a hero, in that case what you have to do is the same thing. You have to figure out what everybody at the table is, along with some discussion again, and then you have to kind of work together to figure out everybody who's a villain and what their weaknesses are. So there's a lot of storytelling in this game, there's a lot of social deduction, and one thing that you have to hold true to is the superhero code. If you are one of the heroes, you must A, always be honest, B. Admit your true fears and inabilities. C. You must protect all human and animal life. And D. Minimize the collateral damage. So yeah, you must always stick to the superhero code if you are a hero. Now, there's lots of different win conditions, but basically, everyone kind of wants to hide their identity for as long as possible, hold their weaknesses back from as many people as possible, so that way it can't be used against them at the end of the game.
Our daughter had so much fun with this game. She just had a hoot, like, being somebody, divvying out, like, these different things that you could be, trying to get you to fail or trying to get you not fail, trying to figure out who was what, and just, like, doing that little kid giggle. You know what I'm talking about? If you have, you know, kids get, like, super excited and they can't help but laugh. Like, it didn't even matter if she was doing things right or wrong. She was just really enjoying herself.
Yeah, it's probably their first time that probably the second or third game she's had an opportunity to role play.
Yeah.
So she's starting to gain some of those storytelling elements, which are fun to see how that happens, especially for a kid. And then also, I think it's our first time we played a kind of a social deduction game.
Yeah.
Where you get a chance to maybe lie, potentially, within the confines of the game. So that was really fun to see her play that out, and she got it. In fact, one of the games she even set up for us. She had that all laid out.
She did.
She did. Come downstairs and play. I got it all ready to go. I didn't peek at your rolls, I promise. She totally did. But yeah, so that was really fun. Just having his first social deduction game play out in this superhero world.
I thought the graphic design choices were pretty on point with trying to keep with the superhero theme. I mean, just the text on it. I mean, it's reminiscence of that. And then the numbers on the scoring board and the trackers and all of that just are like the pow, bam, like
Biff.
Biff? Is that real?
That's for sure. Like old school classic cartoon.
Biff.
Yeah.
What is Biff?
Like a punch. And like this.
But why is it not pow? Why is it?
Because sometimes punches are pows, sometimes punches are biffs. I don't make the rules.
Okay.
They're kapowies. I don't know.
Like kapow, Biff. I don't know. It just doesn't.
I listen.
It doesn't like I don't think of like force or anything. I don't think of like power. Like pow,
Biff.
Bam, Biff.
Yeah, absolutely. It works for me.
No.
All right, so I think that this did two things I'd never seen combined before. It took role playing, storytelling aspects, and social deduction, and combined them in a way that I'd never seen before. I thought that was really interesting because usually those are standalone mechanisms typically. So I thought that was interesting that they combined those.
I did think that this game was asking a lot of players. So it wants you to create like these storytelling things and to try and give people, points based on if they succeeded. And what is that called? Do you remember? Like the style points or something?
Oh, yeah, the style points.
Yeah. And I just felt like the game was asking a lot of the players. And I personally, in my gameplay, would have liked a bit more structure. I don't like that much movement when it comes to my games. But that's just like a purely Bethany thing. And I wonder like how that would have played if we had more people. Yeah,
I mean, it plays 3 to 8 players. We definitely recommend the higher end of that. You get more of those interactions. You just kind of deduce a little bit more. It can take a little bit of time in between players. As the people who aren't necessarily involved in the mission, you get a chance to do some of the voting and that kind of thing. And you get to listen to the funny stories. But still, the more players, the longer between turns. But the more players, the more interactions, the more things you get to see play out. Also, the rulebook was a little bit busy, a little bit hard to find what I needed when I needed to find it. So it was a short rulebook, but at the same time, I would have liked some kind of like bigger title headings or something like that, or maybe like a glossary at the end of some defining some terms. That might have helped a little bit too.
Yeah.
Maybe some more pictures possibly helped kind of zero in on the spot I was looking for. But overall, like I said, this was incredibly interesting. If you like that superhero world, or if you like social deduction games, or if you like those storytelling role-playing games, or any of those combinations of those things, I think you should check out Superpowered. I thought that did some cool stuff.
Well, thank you so much for watching it. Don't forget to subscribe here so you can see our videos as they come out. And you can also find us in all the places. On Facebook, we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. On Twitter, we are Ryan and Bethany 1. And on Instagram, we are Ryan and Bethany.
Everybody, thanks for watching. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.